Rate cuts around the corner, but will it save the housing market? Hey everybody, Skullwalters, buckle up, strap in. We got a hard-hitting pull, no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows or sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. We got a good one to unpackage today. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody's doing great. Let's jump back on the real estate merry-go-round and examine the good, the bad, and maybe a little bit of the ugly.
No, Scott, not the ugly. Only examine rainbows and sunshine.
No. Somebody's got to read between the lines and look between the economic cracks. And friends, we've got some big economic cracks. Clearly, all courtesy of stimulus, the crisis. Not for the crisis, we're not talking today. This is the biggest artificially induced housing bubble ever witnessed in world history, friends. That is scary. Why, you ask? Well, of course, I'm going to tell you. Because if we lose the U.S. housing market, we lose everything. We're thrusted into a deep cycle recession. More than likely, a depression is on the horizon. And I hate to say it, but the reality is this, just like I said, we've had bubble behavior in the past and they've always popped. So there's that strike one. Strike two, this was the biggest bubble ever recorded in history. Overnight appreciation to never seen before highs. That's strike two. Strike three, it was artificially induced, no organic growth. This was all courtesy of the crisis and stimulus. It's the three-headed monster. It's out of its cage. It's a runaway train. It's left the station. It is clearly off the rails. And here's the thing. In 2008, in the 2008 era downturn, I remember it like it was yesterday. Because until you've lived through a boom-bust cycle as a bill-paying adult and suffered some of its blowback, you may have heard of it, you may even live through it, but if you were just some kid in your college dorm room or whatever, you don't have firsthand experience of what that actually feels like. And I remember that quite clearly. Houses started to reverse course, just like we're seeing now. Half the country now is reversing course. As we're speaking, another neighborhood just reversed course. This is the start of a downturn. And here's the thing. The housing market, because it's so massive, is going to garnish a lot of attention. But right now it's getting backseated in some form or fashion because there's so much other things going on in the country. I always say this is economical, political, and social dysfunction. And we've always had them all, but never like we've had now. Now it's much worse, again, because of the crisis. Everything has become more polarizing. Even back in 2008, we maybe had some smartphones, but not at the level we have today. We have grandmas, toddlers. I see little babies with a phone in their hands. Parents give these phones to their kids to keep them occupied. When my kids were little, I would basically have like a little portable, DVD player and play them, VeggieTales or one of these shows just to occupy them in the car or something. I wasn't handing them my smartphone. So, and with social media being what it is today, it's a monster. It's just a monster. Good news travels fast, but unfortunately, bad news travels faster. This is an economic warning channel for you, friends. I'm a real estate agent. I love real estate. I own real estate. I've managed real estate. I've worked in every facet of real estate. It's the path to wealth. Traditionally, that window is getting smaller and smaller. And that's why in these shows, you'll always hear me talk about, does it pencil out? What's my cost to carry? Does it meet its rent range? And segues this really into today's topic. The reality is this. Rate cuts are coming. And that's not a good sign. For a lot of people, they're like, oh, that's a great thing. We're going to have rate cuts and things are going to start to ease up. Rate cuts are not the signal of a healthy economy. They're the signal of we need help. We need help. And it won't save anything because even meaningful rate cuts, even if they were to go back to those 3% mortgage rates like we saw in the bubble-induced artificial growth environment, which in fact was horrible. The only thing that maybe helped is people that already owned homes and refinanced into that low interest rate. Maybe that helped them. But we saw what it did to home prices. They doubled. That is so dangerous. To have prices double, even in 2008, we didn't see that kind of run up. This one is dwarfing it. It's making it look like a warm up compared to what we had in 2008. So the challenge is this. Rate cuts, even if you were to, I've always said, even if you dropped them to 0% interest, it's not going to save the housing market. In fact, it would only hurt it because it can't tolerate any more growth. You see, here's the middle class has always been the backbone of our country. And now the middle class is shrinking. You have the rich and the working poor, and that is it. The middle class, back in the day, a single income family, a blue collar worker could afford the American dream. Now you have to be a dual income, high wage earner to even have a chance at a starter home. That is a broken housing market, my friends. And so it's so funny how they're using these smoke and mirrors, hiding behind interest rates, that somehow going to help the country, when in fact it's only going to hurt it. In fact, what you need to do is raise interest rates. We need to cool these markets off further. And even if we get that slight rate cut, or even a meaningful rate cut, people are already tapped out courtesy of inflation. Inflation and the cost of living and the prices being sticky aren't going to help. Now, here's the caveat in this, friends. Clearly, we've seen prices start to reverse course, like I mentioned, in over half the country. And like in 2008, we saw the same thing. It doesn't come like a thief in the night, typically, and just crash when it gets started. It happens later. And eventually mainstream media will jump on this bandwagon and start to report on it, especially if they don't have anything else to report on. But like I said, because of the social economical components that we have right now dominating our news stories, there's really no room for it. It's going to take blood in the streets before mainstream media gets on board. And then we're going to see the reverse FOMO, the reverse, well, in all intents and purposes, herd mentality again. And we're already seeing that, where people now are on the sidelines more now than ever before. And it's not necessarily because they're afraid to buy or catch the dreaded falling knife. It's because they're priced out. They just don't have the money. So even if you gave them the opportunity at a lower mortgage rate with lower interest rates, they're not going to be able, they still won't qualify for those loans because they've exhausted their savings. They don't even have a down payment. And here's the thing, until we can get the cost to own versus the cost to rent to be even, to be close, that is the only way people are going to come back into these markets, because people now see the writing on the wall. It's the cat's out of the bag. The jig is up. The music stopped playing. This game of musical chairs has stopped, and the economy got stuck without a seat at the game. In final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator, as a real estate guy that wants to see not only win in real estate, win in life. Understand the waters you're swimming in now, they're shark infested. Interest rates, welcome to the swimming pool. It'll be funny to see the way this one plays out. I'm going to sit back and grab my popcorn because my guess is it's not going to do anything. I hate to say this, and I hate to be the one reporting on it. I'm just a level-headed realist that works in real estate and who's seen this movie before. Anytime the market exhibits bubble behavior, it comes with a level of crash risk. My advice, and I'd never suggest anybody do anything that I'm not doing or willing to do myself, insulate yourself in these times. Understand the waters you're swimming in. Expect the unexpected. It's better to be prepared for something and have it not happen than have something happen and not be prepared. In the meantime, I'll be here to blow the lid off it every step of the way, because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media links in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on I think you might enjoy. If you need help buying or selling real estate here in America, I have the biggest network of top-rated agents in the nation ready to assist you. It'd be our honor and our privilege to do so. Email in the description for you as well. Also, if you're watching from your television set today and you enjoyed this video, you're going to love the next video. And there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count today. God bless. I'll see you on the next video.